I'd like to call the April 16th meeting of the City Council of Cannon Falls to order. Hope everybody enjoyed the perfect weather out there today. First of all, could we have roll call, Linnell?
Yes. Councilmember Bringold. Here. Duncan.
Here.
Gesme.
Here.
Lundell.
Here.
Mattson.
Here.
Montgomery.
Here.
And Mayor Altoff.
Here. If you'd stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I think before I take a motion to approve the agenda, I'll tell this is the first night we've got the format change of the council meeting. And the biggest change is that the public hearing is going to be at the end of the meeting tonight, so.
Public input.
Public input, rather, yeah. So we'll start first, to have a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mary Jill and a second by Bill to approve the agenda. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. First item on the agenda is public hearings. Item A is Resolution 2419, which is vacating platted utility easements in the Woodridge Bluffs subdivision. Dave, you want to take that?
I'm a bad replacement for Sam, but I'll try.
Samantha's not here.
We've published notice, as we're required to do, to consider the vacation of an existing, a small utility easement. By small utility, I typically mean phone, gas. And in all the lots that have been platted in the recent past, there's always a 5-foot side yard setback on most lots that are platted if there's not going to be a public utility, city water, sewer, storm sewer, that type of thing. And in this case, we have an individual who wants to purchase 2 existing platted lots to build 1 home. So in order to do that, the center line 10-foot, 5-foot on each lot of existing easement needs to be vacated. It would go away. There are no private utilities in that easement. We don't need that easement for public purposes, so it can be vacated. If it is vacated, it goes away. The 2 lots would be then combined as 1, and there'd be a single home built on it. So we're required to hold a public hearing, and we've included, or Sam's included in your packet of information, a graphic that shows both lot 10 and 11, and I think highlighted in yellow the area where the easement proposed to be vacated is located.
Any discussion?
Open the hearing.
You've seen it in your packet. Is there a motion to approve resolution?
Hold it, we got to open the public.
Okay, open the public hearing on resolution 2419. Any public comment? If none, we'll close the public hearing in regard to resolution 2419. And
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2419.
I'll second.
motion by Bill and a second by Morris to approve resolution 2419. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Item B is Resolution 2420. That's vacating a platted street in the city of Cannon Falls. I'll turn it back to Dave.
Here again, a similar process required public hearing, but in this case, not to vacate an easement, but to vacate an original town platted street, part of Cedar and part of Hoffman in this case. And again, you all know the topography in this community, and this is again one of those examples where topography in the past has accepted platted roads that were probably arguably never going to be built, or if they were going to be built, it would be really expensive. So this again is one of many that we have around the community that, while they're original town platted rights of way for streets, we're not intending to construct a street. Plans to construct a street there. However, we do have a water main that goes through the street right-of-way. So in this case, the property owners have requested that a portion of Cedar and a portion of Hoffman Street be vacated. We have no reason to retain the 80-foot right-of-way for the street. We do have reason to retain existing easement that covers the water main that comes through that. So even in the event if the if the street right-of-way is vacated, we would still retain the existing easement, or we would retain an easement for access to our water main in that area. So again, this is something we've seen in the past, and in order to vacate it, there needs to be a public hearing again, and then a motion and approval of a resolution by the council to vacate that right-of-way, if you so choose.
Very good. Let's open the public hearing on Resolution 2420. Anyone who would like to address Resolution 2420? Third call, Resolution 2420. That said, we'll close the public hearing on Resolution 2420. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
No second.
Motion by Mary Jo, second by Bill to approve Resolution 2420. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. That leads us to the council agenda. For you at home and in the audience, I will go through the consent agenda for you. Item A is just and correct claims for the accounting period ending April 11th, 2019. Item B, meeting minutes for March 19th, 2019 City Council work session. Item C, meeting minutes for the April 2, 2019 City Council meeting. Item D, summer fall event street closures. Item E, application for payment number 2 for the 19 utility improvements. Item F, approve parking of the Strawberry Ride in front of Eltoff Hardware. Item G, approve the Fun Fest use of the bridge. And item H, approve the River Edge Properties sewer credit. Is there anything that any of these items the council would like to pull down? Nothing?
For me.
Then I'd accept a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
A second.
Motion by Bill and a second by Derek to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. That leads us to council business. Approving the 2019 Farmers Market. Dave?
Thank you. In the past several months, more Diane Howard and Michelle Sandine than myself have been working with the Artisan Plaza Farmers Market. We held the first Farmers Market at Artisan Plaza last year. And similarly, we held a continued Farmers Market in the downtown parking lot last year for the first time under a separate permit. This year, there's been communication with the vendors of the downtown market, vendors of the Artisan Plaza Farmers Market, and we've come up with a concept of a single farmers market for Cannon Falls this year, 2019, but in 2 locations. So it's a single farmers market proposed in 2 locations. And the only real difference this year for the vendors downtown is there's a proposed fee payment of $100 per vendors. Last year, at the Artisan Plaza Farmers Market, those vendors all paid $100. All of that money goes exclusively to promoting the activities of last year's market at Artisan Plaza. The market downtown has never paid a fee, but we feel certainly at a staff level, and I think there's some agreement, not all, amongst the vendors that would seem fair, that since there's a fee paid at the Artisan Plaza Market, that there ought to be a fee paid downtown, and the agreement would be the same, that to the extent fees are generated by the downtown vendors, those will go into that common pool, the common dollars, if you will, that would pay for marketing and promotion of the single market in 2 locations. So that's the main change this year relative to the downtown market. For the first time ever, there would be a fee. It would be equivalent to what the vendors are paying for out at Artisan Plaza. The rules, the application, the conduct of the vendors is the same in both markets. There's a little bit of a distinction if you if you look at the days and hours of operations, the Artisan Farmers Market isn't proposed to begin until June 1st, running through October 26th, 7:30 a.m. till noon. The downtown market would start a little bit earlier, May 4th, but still end up October 26th, and start a little bit earlier, 7 a.m., but still end at noon. So not a huge difference. They're both the same days, and what we saw last year even, that we had customers going back and forth between the two markets, but we also had some vendors going back and forth. This year, while the starting time is going to be a little bit different between the two, both in terms of date and time. Under this program, the vendors downtown can sign up to vend at both markets if they've got the staff to do it, or they can choose their preferred market, either downtown or Artisan Plaza. That would be kind of their home base, if you will, but they'd be allowed throughout the course of the year to go back and forth if they choose. So if they have a single stand, and they choose to have their preference downtown, they can vend there all downtown all year if they like, all season, or if they want to go out to Artisan Plaza a couple times, they can do that. There's no additional charge. So we're going to allow the vendors back and forth movement, and the trick this year is going to be how we effectively market the single farmers market in two locations in Cannon Falls. So that's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but I think for the most part it's a pretty good compromise that's been pretty well received by most of the vendors. I think it's a compromise by everyone that is much better than the alternatives, and believe me, we talked about some alternatives, and I think this one works pretty well, and we're keeping our fingers crossed with Diane and Michelle being market managers the whole season between the two markets, that we can have the administrative support that we need, we can have some marketing and promotions that's agreeable to both markets themselves. And we really do hope that this year, even more so than last year, that we see consumers going back and forth and vendors. The final thing I'll say about the program this year is that last year there was a couple of special events out at Artisan Plaza for that farmers market, Harvest Fest, and a few others. The vendors downtown, with the payment of the fee, will be welcome to also attend those larger markets, those special events that were held last year at Artisan Plaza that will be held again this year. And we may very well hold some special events downtown too. That remains to be seen. But we're hopeful that this will work. We're hopeful that the vendors at both markets continue to develop relationships and cooperate with each other, and we hope they're both successful, both markets. So that's kind of the program this year, and if the council's acceptable to this, we just need to have you approve it, and then we'll get up and running into May and June with the two markets.
I think it's a fair agreement myself.
Yeah.
During a discussion here.
Yeah. Are they open every day, or is it just Saturdays?
Just Saturdays, except last year and this year, and it's primarily Josephson's.
Yeah, I was going to ask about the sweet corn.
There was an agreement made in last year's permit that's carried forward that there would still be the ability of some vendors, should they choose to vend on days other than Saturday.
Okay.
As far as location of the assigned spaces, that kind of thing, you have in here that the first people to pay get to pick. Does that mean that everybody gets an assigned space? No matter when, like if I'm the 20th person, do I get X space every week? Is that how that works? I mean, that can get pretty competitive.
Great question. Not easy to explain.
Yeah.
The downtown market, because of our delineated parking stalls, we had marked and numbered those stalls last year, and we didn't do it first come, first serve. We actually had kind of a little lottery. So the vendors last year were able to select where they wanted to vend each and every Saturday in the downtown market. We had those numbered. It's a little bit more complicated out at Artisan Plaza because we've got an area where we're assigned and allowed to vend, but we don't have parking stalls numbered or delineated as well as we do downtown. So we're working on a system out there too, and what we found through experience is that once the market starts in the beginning, the first week, the vendors typically go back to the same spots they were already in. And we really didn't have any management issues with that downtown, and I don't think we will out there either. Okay. But the issue is going to be if someone from Artisan Plaza wants to come from Artisan Plaza downtown, there's pre-assigned spaces for the home base, if you will, of those vendors, and they're not going to be able to locate in those spaces. They're going to have to take whatever space is available. And it even surprises me still to this day that location is as important as the vendors tell me that it is, but I guess it is, so we'll go with it.
Okay,
So we're going to have to kind of manage it a little bit, but
okay,
we'll get there.
that makes sense.
Any other discussion?
Why 2 locations? Did I miss why they didn't just consolidate and have it in one or the other, or is that a longer explanation we'll save for a different
It
time?
is.
Okay.
Thank you for your question.
I can't wait to hear the answer.
Any more discussion? Take a motion to approve the agreement.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion by Bill, second by Morris to approve the farmer's marker and agreement. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, reports. Council, committee, and commission. Start with Greg. Okay. Mike?
Well, just, we had the Public Works last, on April 10th, and a couple of the items that we approved tonight were part of our discussion. If you remember last, council meeting, we were directed as Public Works to start talking about the food trucks. That's still gonna be an ongoing discussion. We're waiting for some information from Tillian's to better specify what they're looking for. Did I miss anything else, Mike?
I think that was the big
Those are the big
ongoing
ones.
issue, yeah,
Okay.
or topic.
Well, you're kind of seeing what Tillian is asking, but there's a little discussion among the local restaurants too on.
Yeah, and I think that's evolved a little bit the last even couple days. I know Dave's been involved in some conversation on that now too.
Yeah, with from the last city council meeting and then the subsequent Public Works Commission meeting, we've had some additional conversations with Tillian, and we've asked that they talk to the other restaurant operators and kind of just gauge the level of support, identify if there's any particular concerns, and let us know. And I know they're out doing that. So we're kind of waiting a little bit for some feedback. I'm actually getting some feedback from some of the restaurant operators too. So my best guess is we'll come back at least with a report to the next Public Works Commission meeting with what Tillian has found, maybe what we've heard, and then we'll get some additional feedback from the commission.
Sounds good. Anything else? Nicole? Nothing? Mitch?
Real quick on the police department, we've got the Easter basket hunt coming up Saturday. Town will be congested. It's a 10 o'clock start, 9 to noon. It'll be pretty congested downtown, so just please be aware of that. At the next meeting, we'll hit on the 2nd and the 8th. We've got coffee, cops, and conversation coming up, and the next triad. But we had a really good group at the bakery. At the last one was a pretty large group, so that's been fun to see. And Dave, I should have hit earlier on the farmer's market. The one thing at the police department we've seen sometimes is how do we handle that guy on a Tuesday that's selling out of the back of his truck? Or, it's nice if they have a permit like in their truck saying, hey, I've registered with the city, I've paid the $100. Or Josephson's, I've got this permit that says I can sell Monday through Friday or, through this month. But that would be neat to see in some language on that. But then that's all we got.
Dave?
And we can do that. Last year, Josephson's were really the only vendor that was approved through the permit last year for off Saturday vending. So we can do that, and we actually have, they have confirmation from us that they have applied, that the paperwork has been submitted, that they actually are allowed to and permitted to do that. So yeah, so we can do that. 2 things. Kyle, are you going to make some comments in public input with regards to breakfast this morning?
Well, I can add that.
You can add that. The thing I'll say to the council is you've got some additional information about bridging divides, information coming up through the league on May 9th. We talked about expectations of the public dealing with conflict situations. I'm sure there will be some folks out of City Hall attending that day on May 9th. If anyone would wish to go along, just let us know. That's all I have.
Thank you. Linnell?
Nothing, thanks.
Okay. Steve?
Nothing.
Matt?
I would like our park board to have our first meeting next Thursday, April 25th. So we'll go through the process and get an agenda together and contact our members. I know Chuck, you're here, and Ken. So normally the third Thursday, but obviously we got Easter this week, so we'll push it back. So next Thursday will be the first one. Weather is cooperating, so we can start to get busy with that.
Very good. Bill?
I have nothing.
Derek?
I had one thought with the snowstorm we had the other day. Being as that it happened after the winter parking ban was done, it made me wonder if instead of having a general winter parking ban, if we couldn't just do a snow emergency instead. Is that something that's ever been discussed with Public Works?
Yeah, me and Jeff McCormick had that discussion the beginning part of the winter, if we want to just leave it as our ordinance or change it, just be able to declare snow emergencies. We've left it for now.
Okay.
Again, I think we've had 3 or 4 winters in a row where we've had some kind of a significant snowstorm after the ordinance drops out.
Yeah.
I wanted to, for my first winter, I wanted to see how it goes, the way we did it with the ordinance. And even after, we had a few cars parked on the streets with this last snowstorm, but the April and May ones, they melt so fast and they disappear that I didn't have a problem with it, and that's why we didn't tow. I didn't want to enforce any of that. The ordinance didn't support it anyway.
Yeah.
But our residents have been pretty good around town to help us out and stay off the streets. We had a few more this time, but
Okay.
the snow's gone now, so I get too worked up. But it's something we can
Yeah, because I know,
talk about.
unofficially, if it's not snowing, we kind of allow people to park on the road. So maybe
Yeah,
it'd be more
it's an
clear.
ordinance that we only enforce when we need to.
Yeah.
It's actually in effect all winter long. You're not supposed to park on the city streets for the duration of the city or the winter time. But it's so far in my eyes it works pretty good the way it is.
Okay.
I didn't have any issues myself, nor our plows. So yeah.
Okay.
That's
fine. That's all.
Hey, Joe? Morris?
No, sir.
I'm just going to make couple comments. We talked about a council meeting at the fair. I think that's kind of out. Where bands got scheduled and grandstand events, so I don't think that'll work. So we'll just have our regular meeting here at the council chambers. I wanted to bring up Sustain. I'd like to have Sustain or Blaze come to our next meeting. There's been a couple bad days this week, and the last time he said there was a problem with a heater, but how many problems can you have with a heater? Could we get him on the agenda for the next meeting?
Make the invitation.
Make the invitation? Okay. Hey, that's all I got. That brings us to the public input part of the meeting. Citizens may speak to issues not on the agenda. Before speaking, please give your name and address for the record and kindly limit your comments to 3 minutes. Public comments must be respectful, pertinent to city business, and adhere to the applicable data privacy rules. The City Council will not take action on any issue raised by the public, but may choose to schedule consideration of the item on a future agenda. Kyle's already up.
Good evening, City Council members and staff. I have several different things. As Dave brought up, we had a chamber breakfast this morning, and our speakers were 5 women from Zumbrota. And they talked about being motivated and committed to work together. And coming out of that meeting, I have never had that many positive and glowing reviews of a breakfast discussion. And so, there's a lot of talk going on that we need to get together, do something about commitment, collaboration, working together to build our businesses in the downtown, actually throughout the community. And so just wanted to let you know about that. Children's Easter Hunt, this is our 20th annual. It is this Saturday, April 20th. It starts at 10 a.m. The Easter Bunny will be arriving in the city parking lot behind Cannon Valley Specialties. All right, and right now we have 29 businesses throughout Cannon Falls that are participating. So it should be a lot of fun. We have color-coded the numbers the children get, the numbers on the bags, and the locations on the map. So we're trying to make it as clear and easy as possible. Chamber Fun Fests. Our first Chamber Fun Fest is on May 9th. That's the second Thursday of the month. And we do have Dan Schwann, the accordion man, being the entertainment for the night. We are still taking registrations. Another special announcement is the Southern Minnesota Initiative Foundation has a Sprout meeting coming up on April 23rd. It is at the Cannon River Winery. The times are
4:30 to 6:30.
Thank you. 4:30 to 6:30 at the winery. The topics are going to cover childcare, preparation of children for the future, new businesses, and what resources are there out there to help you. And this region is $280 million that could go towards local projects and initiatives. So if you have some ideas, this is a free meeting. We need to get our ideas to this group so we can get some of those dollars right here in Cannon Falls. You need to go to the smifoundation.org website to register. There will be light hors d'oeuvres and beverages. But I went to their annual meeting last year, and there was just list and list after list of projects going on in southeastern Minnesota. There wasn't one from Cannon Falls. Now, if the dollar amounts were the same as last year, $280 million, we need to make an adjustment so that we can get those monies right here. John Peterson at Ferndale Market is on that board. So I hope to see you all on April 23rd. Any questions? Thank you very much.
Thanks, Carol. Public input?
Ken.
Ken Carpenter, 1005 Park Street West. I'd like to see the city work with the county along 4th Street, going from County 25 down towards Artisan Plaza, and getting a bike pathway built. There's a lot of people that walk that area, and it would make a good sense, economic sense, because it then connects us with the hotels so that people have a way to bike all the way into town. The right-of-way is wide enough. It's 100 feet wide. That's a 6-lane road. And it's, I think we need to work with Dave Iverson, or
Isaacson.
Isaacson, the county engineer, along with Dave Anderson. He does bike path grants, and I think we can get that built. I've seen a preliminary number of about roughly $250,000 to make that work. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just, Ken, I am signed up for the, there's a workshop coming up that's led by Anderson, that whole group, you know, to make Cannon Falls more bikeable. That's, since we talked about that last year, that's on my list to bring up during that workshop. So it's a fairly large one coming. I don't know if anybody else signed up for it, but I did because they had free lunch and, you know, sounded like a fun thing. So
But you also have to bring
I'll be
a
there.
bicycle, though.
Yeah, and we're going biking, I guess. So, yeah. So I'll be a part of that, Ken, and I'll help voice that and see what we can do.
We should mention that bike. When is that again?
May 9th.
May 9th? We'll have a council meeting before that to remind you again, but
9 to 3, I'm signed up to, I think so.
it's all day, yeah, 9 to 3, I believe, yeah. Okay, anybody else, public input?
had a question first off. Is there a personnel, is it either called commission or committee? The personnel?
Yes.
Is it, the upcoming meeting schedule is, so it's a commission?
Yeah. Public, it's not on here.
As needed, I'm guessing.
Yeah, as needed. There isn't a schedule, really a scheduled one right now.
Yeah, I just didn't see it.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure you have one.
Yeah.
It's just got missed.
There'll be one upcoming, yes.
Okay. I put my name on the list, so you got my name and address. I'm not really wanting to come here and give up any public input, but I'm going to continue to until I either get, I don't know how to put it, either straight answers or, before I started to speak, I was going to address you all and do it all formal and all that, but I just get told things like, there's two sides or more to a story, and I'm not disagreeing with that, but it just ends there. If there's any, I don't know, have you guys read or know anything about the survey they took at the library? Has anybody seen the survey they did since the new director? Sounds like nobody has. Right? Nothing? Okay. Well, there's some issues there that I'd like to be addressed, and I'm sorry? Is there any possibility that something can be instead of me keep coming, and I'm being told, I met with the mayor and an administrator about 15, 16 days ago, and like Dave has mentioned to me, I do just fine on my own advocating for myself or speaking, but I'm not getting, I guess, answers or resolution. I'm just looking for some resolution, and it's my time's up. I'll be back next week. Next meeting.
Anyone else, public input? Public input? Third and last call, public input. Okay, we'll close the public input part of the meeting. If nobody's got anything else, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Bill and a second by Derek to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.